Donald, Goofy, we just blew up the Death Star. Are there any other worlds that Master Yen Sid told us about?
Yeah, Sora, look over there. We gotta go to Zootopia, too.
I'm sorry, it popped into my head before I started recording and I had to do it. Quick tangent, there's gonna be a few of these. Zootopia is so Kingdom Hearts coded. Like, I'm sorry, like, here's this big city where you can run around and, like, explore. It feels like something I could easily see in a Kingdom Hearts game, and I was definitely feeling that while watching Zootopia 2, and just seeing all these different areas of the city. I was like, man, I would get super into that. I'm like, Donald and Goofy would not have to actually change anything to fit in. It's like, yeah, they're just animals wearing clothes. I guess Sora would probably also turn into a bunny, and I don't know, I think Lion Sora looks really cool. Bunny Sora might look cool as hell, so I don't know, maybe he'd almost look like Bugs, which, completely different company, but that'd be kind of fun. Anyways, first tangent over. Now I can start talking about the movie, but I got other things to talk about first, but it's all related. We'll get there. We're going to succeed, Judy Hopps. We are going to get to talking about Zootopia, I promise. But a couple things I want to say is, number one, I am trying to represent the movie with what I'm wearing. In reference of Judy, I'm wearing something very gray and very fluffy. And for Nick, I am wearing something very orange and very casual. And yes, I am wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and it's like 35 degrees outside. It is not warm here. But I was like, it's a small bit, but I'm gonna do it because it's gonna make me happy, even if I'm gonna be miserable and cold. And I guess being cold means I'm also repping my guy Gary, so there's that. But before I can really properly talk about the movie, I feel like I do want to briefly talk about my thoughts on the first Zootopia and kind of just the recent mainline Disney films. So not counting remakes, not counting like Pixar, but the Disney animated canon since Zootopia. So you kind of know how I was feeling going into the sequel. Zootopia is my favorite mainline Disney movie. Having rewatched all of them, some of them for the first time in a long time, I think others for the first time ever a few years ago, I can say with confidence, it is number one. The only movie for me that can really compete with it is Lilo and Stitch. Not to say I dislike the rest of the canon. Oh my gosh, I love the movies in the Disney Renaissance. I love Jungle Book. I love Frozen, Tangled, Alice for sure. Gosh, I loved Alice in Wonderland. I have a lot of fondness and genuine love, not just nostalgia, for most of these films. But I think Zootopia is my favorite. I'd say, not even think. I know it's my favorite, and for me, there's two big reasons why. Number one is just I really like the dynamic between Nick and Judy, whether you see it as romantic or not. I just love their chemistry. I love the way they interact off each other. I have a lot of fun with it. Number two is, it's a combination of the moral and the message of the film, but it's it's these two particular scenes that really emphasize it for me. Number one is when Judy gives that press conference and she's like, no, yeah, we have made a lot of headway in this case. We believe this is what's going on. And then she goes off script and starts talking about her own biases against predators and then sees the consequences of it. Because throughout the film at that point, we have seen Judy as a victim of prejudice, and a lot of it is dude, this is very unfair. This is some bullshit that she has to deal with. I feel bad for her. But in that moment, you see that she has her own prejudices as well. And her issues with foxes comes from something in her childhood, and it's not a black and white issue. It's not, oh man, she has a prejudice, thus she is a bad person. It's, no. Good people can have these too. And they often don't come from nowhere. But also, when you look at someone like Nick, they can be heavily unfounded, but because that, like, societal pressure to conform to their stereotype of you is so strong, you kind of have no choice to. And I find that really interesting. And the other scene that I absolutely love is when she goes back home and, what was the name of her bully? I want to say it starts with a G. It's like Greg or Garrison or something like that. I think I'm probably going to get totally wrong. I might have to look it up later. Be like, oh yeah, like this was it. But it's that scene when she meets him again and he's working with her family and he's like, I'm sorry for the way that I treated you when we were kids. I remember that incident and I have been living with the guilt of that for such a long time. I had a lot of issues that I was going through. I took some of that out on you. That does not make what I did okay, but I am actively working on it and I am trying to be better. Again, it gets into that sense of people aren't just black and white. And not just in like a color sense, but like in a morality sense. We're all people. There are shades of gray in all of us. You don't know what another person is going through, and you don't necessarily... Gideon! I knew it started with a G! Got it! Sorry, it just like clicked and I remembered it. But, was it Gideon Gray? That might be something else, but like, I think that was it. Sorry. But it is that sense that you never know what another person is currently going through or why they are the way they are. And so, it is better to try to lead with kindness, better to try to lead with empathy. But also, like, when you get to the end of the movie, you get, like, with Bellwether, when someone shows you who they are, for better or for worse, believe them. Not to say that someone can't change, but they have to show that willingness to want to change. We see it in Gideon. We do see it in Nick. And that's one of the things I really love about the movie, is I feel like there's a good moral in here, and the nuances to it are what make it really stand out. The Disney films that have come out since, if I am correct in my list, I've seen all of them except Moana 2, but I believe it's Moana, which I think is fine. I think it's super overrated. I think it's okay. Raya, I don't think I'm going to be getting these in order, by the way. Raya, which I like. I think the pacing is a bit off, and it would feel better as like a full TV show. I would have loved a Raya TV show, but I think it works well enough. But there are problems. Again, that like when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And Raya kind of goes the opposite in that message. Like, no. Keep trusting them. Like, I don't... With what's happened in this movie, like, I get the theme and the moral, and it works out, but... Boy, that's kind of like a dangerous and arguably kind of a toxic moral here. Ralph 2, which is all about being toxic and, like, dealing with the toxic parts of your personality, which I'm a lot nicer to that movie than other people are, and I get why people don't like it. I don't love it either, but I'm just more forgiving of it, I guess. Frozen 2, I absolutely hate. I think it's in the bottom 3 of all of the Disney animated canon, alongside another movie that came out at this time, which was Wish, which I think is the worst. I think Wish is awful. There might be something else that I'm missing. Oh, Encanto. Encanto is the one that I like absolutely love. Sorry, it's like, yeah, the one that, Moana 2 I haven't seen, Encanto I love. I feel like every other mainline, and Strange World, which, yeah, no, like that I'm just gonna forget. Like, I didn't like it. It did nothing for me. So many of these films I felt were either underwhelming, actively bad, or Encanto, which is the exception to the rule. So going into Zootopia 2, I have really high expectations because Zootopia is my favorite of these movies, and really kind of mix, like I want to see it, and I think it's gonna be good, and I'm needing it to be good, but given the recent track record, I'm really not expecting it. Man, I really, really hope I enjoy myself. So with all that being said, I can now finally talk about Too Fast Zootopia. I'm done making title jokes, by the way. It's like, I'm sorry. I've been calling it like Too Zoopia Zoo for like the last week and a half. And after I watched the movie, I was like, Too Fast Zootopia. That's so stupid, I have to say it. But now I can talk about Zootopia too. And I will try to go non-spoilers and just like, here's the basics of the film. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. Spoiler warning, and then all of that. Man, did I enjoy it. I really, really liked Zootopia 2. Not as much as the first. That's a very, very high bar for me. But I liked it a lot. And what was... I don't know if I can say, like, the point I really want to hit without going into spoilers. But I will just kind of make it... No, I think I can. No, yeah, I think I can. Ish. There might be a couple things I'll have to hit later. Zootopia 2, I kept comparing it to Frozen 2, which, as I said a little bit ago, I think is terrible. And from what I remember, it was a movie that felt overly long. I remember the songs not really doing it for me. The comic relief, that being Olaf, I thought was not funny. Anna and Kristoff's relationship and communication issues, I just found, like, contrived and annoying and not interesting. And his, like, 80s ballad is, like, kind of funny, but also just, what are we doing? And then when it came to the overall plot, I was like, whatever, I don't really care. And then it does a thing that a lot of these recent films have been doing, where there's no real villain or antagonist. It's just more of like, oh no, like, we uncovered a big secret and realized that, you know, like, grandpa was a terrible person and blah, blah, blah. Which, not an inherently bad thing, but I miss having a villain. Then we have Zootopia 2, which kind of fixed all of those problems. Like, it's under 2 hours, so I feel like the runtime is really good. There are no songs. Like, Shakira sings, I think, the same song twice, like, at one point and then at the very end. And, like, I think it's fine. I didn't love it. I don't think I loved her song the first one either, but, like, it was all right. But I'm not like, man, here's a lot of songs that aren't doing it for me. So our main comic relief character you've seen in the trailers, assuming you've seen the trailers, I believe her name is Nibbles. That is the beaver running a conspiracy podcast about, like, all the reptiles in Zootopia and, like, where did the snakes go. I kept waiting. It was like watching Frozen 1, where I kept waiting for this character to just cross the line where I found them really annoying, and it never happened. Because consistently, I'm like, but she's funny. Like, not every joke landed, but I'm like, no, like, I think she's funny. I like that she's actively helpful. Like, there's a part later on where, like, she really helps Nick in a situation. I'm like, oh, that was awesome. Like, dude, like, good shit. Her insight into Nick and Judy's relationship and, like, their communication issues. I'm like, yeah, I think this is helpful. And another character telling them, you two really need to just talk and figure things out. I'm like, yeah, that is good. Like, you're helpful in a lot of different ways, and I do think you're genuinely funny. You do kind of remind me of Olaf in the first movie compared to Olaf in the sequel, where he just didn't work. There is an actual honest-to-God villain in a Disney movie again. And yes, I know, wish had Magnifico, but like, it didn't quite work there for a lot of different reasons. But here we have Mr. Milton Linksley, which I don't know. I think is just kind of a great name for a villain. I can't even explain why. There's something about it that just screams like old money to me. And maybe it's because I watched the film and he is a character that just screams old money to me. I'm like, oh, this works. But like the entire movie, we have an active villain. And we have someone who's like, no, like I want these problems taken care of. And there is like no bones about what he means. I think he does straight up say a few times, like, yeah, kill them. I want them to die. Like, I don't want them like around anymore. There is a part where they even talk about like a murder a few times and they throw the word around. And I was telling Clay this, I was like, this sounds bad to say out loud, or like kind of weird out of context, but I kind of appreciated how willing they were to just say the word murder in a Disney movie. So you don't hear it that often. Like, obviously Simba, like yelling at Scar, calling him a murderer, but you don't hear it super often. And just how like in your face it was willing to be about what the movie's about, like in terms of its plot. I'm like, I appreciate that a lot. Then we get to Nick and Judy. So they have, how do I want to say this? As someone relatively well versed in Disney sequels, both canon Disney sequels like with Ralph, Frozen, The Rescuers Down Under, and other non-canon Disney sequels like Mulan 2. A frequent thing you'll see is like, oh, here's the couple that got together in the first movie. Now here's the issues that they're having. And very often, like with Anna and Kristoff, or with Mulan and Shang, it doesn't come across as natural, like, which to be fair, with Mulan and Shang, it's intentionally not, because it's Mushu being a piece of shit and like getting in the way of things, which makes him incredibly unlikable. Like, dude, Mulan 2 was awful. But it's not here are some problems that would naturally arise because these two, even though they're close and they love each other, here are the genuine natural problems that would arise from that. It has to feel manufactured. Nick and Judy, these feel like natural problems because of how different they are, as they kind of say throughout the film. Like, Judy is someone who is a go-getter. She likes to wake up early. She likes to work hard. She's like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Boom, boom, boom. Like, Judy might have ADD. Like, that would not surprise me, actually. But just how, like, motivated and energetic and, like, I can't stop doing stuff she kind of is all the time. And something I remember talking with Clay about is that, like, no pun intended, but kind of, it's, yeah, like, because of the first film and she, like, was able to do this case, save the city, she's kind of hopped up on that. Like, she's like, okay, I did it once, let me do it again. And it's almost this combination of, I'm still chasing that high, while also, I proved myself once. It's not enough because people are still doubting me, and they're still doubting me and Nick. I have to prove them wrong again, and I can't stop moving until I do. Contrast with Nick, who is very much a, like, I don't know. I mean, if they're right, they're right. And if they're wrong, they're wrong. But fuck them either way. Like, we're just gonna do what we're gonna do. And those are two diametrically opposed styles of things. And styles of things, I was kind of still a simple way of saying that. But they are very different people. And I don't feel like either of them has to act out of character for these complications to arise in the relationship. I don't feel like there has to be oh yeah, I slightly misheard or misinterpreted something you said, which is now leading to all of this, or, someone has to do a thing to make a thing happen, blah, 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 blah. It just feels like, no, yeah, this makes sense to me, which makes it feel more engaging for me. And yes, there is a whole plot. There is a whole, mystery, because as you've probably seen from trailers, there is a snake in this. There's a snake in my boot. There's a snake in my roof. But, there's a snake. And there is this journal MacGuffin that the snake is after, that the Linksley family, who's this incredibly wealthy, well-known Zootopian family, and their grandfather, great-great-grandfather, whatever it was our ancestor invented the machine that handles the weather and all of that stuff. We are the pride of Zootopia. But the snake is trying to steal the family journal because the snake's like, this will clear my family's name because snakes aren't evil. And then the Linksleys are like, okay, kill him. Just immediately. And again, I like that there's a straight up villain and it's not no, we the Linksleys are good people and blah, blah, blah. Oh no, we are total pieces of shit. If he wants that, then I want it burned, and I want the ashes burned so no one will know what's in there. I don't know what's in there, and that's a problem, and I kind of just love that. But while there is a whole plot about we got to get the snake, we got to get the journal, we got to figure out what information is in the journal, because if the Linksleys want it burned and the snake wants to read it, I want to know what's in it too. But when they help the snake, the whole city's like, oh shit, they're helping the snake, and we got to go after them, so now they're fugitives. It's okay, you could argue that's maybe a bit contrived, although I do buy it. A lot going on, but the real core focus of the movie is the relationship between Nick and Judy, how they communicate, how they work together, and the natural problems that arise with the two of them being so opposed. And I do like that. I think it works. The set pieces in this movie, I think, are very fun. There's a whole scene, which again, is in some of the trailers, with Nibbles talking to a walrus, hey bub, which, by the way, that whole scene, right after they're being ferried across the water on the walrus's back, you should be on his stomach because he's just staring at them, and just the shot of the walrus's dead face looking at Nick was so funny. I was laughing really hard at that. Also, there was this bit in the background where there's Ariel's grotto, Hook's bait and stuff. I'm oh, that's kind of fun. I know there's a lot of stuff that I missed in terms of just jokes in the background, but there was, even on a first viewing, there was a good amount. I don't intend to go see it again in theaters. I wouldn't be opposed to it if it happened, but it's definitely a movie that I would want to watch again because I genuinely loved it. But I would also want to watch it again. It's okay, let me just pay attention to everything going on in the background. But the whole, set piece of, the reptile bar, and then the chase scene that ensues, where they're in the pipes, really cool, really fun. There's an action scene, in a hotel, or excuse me, in a lodge, that I thought was also, pretty cool, pretty fun. The scene in between those, and I'll talk about a bit in spoilers, hit me kind of hard. Oh. And I felt that. And I just love the facial reactions from Nick and Judy in that scene. Fantastic. I was about to say, fantastic acting. I'm well, there was no acting. It was silent. There was just animation. Fantastic animation! Man, it was really good. The climax, it's 95, maybe a little higher % great. There's this one bit where Nick is trying to open a door where I'm a little bit of, I'm not, I think I can tell what's going on, but I'm a little confused about like why he's so desperate. Like, it was a little weird. The rest of it is great. I absolutely love the shit that goes on there. Like, some of the angles are really cool and like really fun. The bit right after is, I'll put it like this. When I walked, or excuse me, a friend of mine had seen it like a week before. He's like, okay, so you remember the Breaking Bad reference from the first movie? Like, yeah, I loved it. It was hilarious. He's like, okay, there's another kind of reference like that, and I'll tell you what it's to. Like, I won't tell you the joke, but I'll tell you if you want. I was like, all right, tell me what it is. He's like, okay, it's to The Shining. I'm like, there's a lot you can do with that. And I'd completely forgotten when I got to that point in the movie. So when I saw, like, the reference, I was like, I think Clay and I both looked at each other, just started laughing, like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I think that's kind of all I can say without going into spoilers. But I think I've made it pretty clear that I loved this movie, and I'm so glad I did, because Zootopia is a movie I love, and the movies since, with one exception, I have not loved. So I really don't feel like I could say, yeah, Disney's back, like, they got it, they figured it out. This might just be a flash in the pan. It might just be like, look, man, Zootopia rules. Everything else is, I don't know. We are the Commando Elite. Everything else is just a toy. Like, something like that. But, I'm glad that it was great. So I will now go into spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. A lot I can say now. So, the reference, like I said, to The Shining was just the giant hedge maze in the snow. It made me happy. I started laughing. I thought it was great. And then just like the way Poppert is going through it, like he's Jack Torrance. I was like, oh man, are we going to get that shot of him just like frozen and glaring? And we didn't. Not upset that we didn't. I mean, I could probably just go ahead and talk about Poppert, but I guess like I got a few pins. So let me take out this really quick one, which I probably should have said previously, just that there is an end credit scene. The end credit scene, I think it's kind of cute and fun with like Judy interacting with her neighbors. Like, I got a kick out of that. It made me grin. Then you just see like a feather. We're like, okay, we're going to do Zootopia 3. It's going to have birds. And like, please don't call it Zootopia 3 bird. Like, oh, I could see it, like a free bird joke. Oh, don't do it in the title, please. Like, I'm still gonna see it, but no, don't do that. I will say, though, if the reference in Zootopia 3 bird is to Kingsman, and they do like a Disney family-friendly reference to the church scene in Kingsman with Freebird playing in the background, I can forgive the 3-bird title. But I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen there. Like, I love the first 2 movies. I'm excited to see a third one. So Poppert, Nick and Judy. So I'm going to take this pen out because I have 2 Nick and Judy scenes to talk about. Number 1 is when the carrot recorder breaks. That look on Nick's face of just like how devastated he is, how heartbroken he is, like how like shocked he is that happened. And like the instant it's this like combination of us fighting and having an argument was not worth what just happened. It is not worth what I just lost. And I'm worried and terrified that I just lost you too because of it. And Judy says nothing. and has almost this look on her face like, I don't care. And you could see that as like I don't, like, this was not that important to me. It's whatever. It's like, I'm focusing on the mission. Just climb. And then when she gets to the top, that mask breaks. And you see just how heartbroken she is about that too. And then she keeps going. Because that is a big thing in the movie. It's like I said, Judy is like ADD. She is constantly chasing that high. She can't stop. And Nick throughout the movie is just like, we do need to stop. Like, we need to stop and actually talk about things rather than just doing them and jumping into the next, like, adventure, jumping into the next plan. We need to actually make a ding-dang plan. And she can't. Because the moment that she stops, just the weight of everything is going to hit her. And she can't carry that. Which does make that scene later when she's talking to Gary about, it's like, you don't have to carry the weight of, like, the world and the city on your shoulders, Judy Hopps. And he's like my mom or like my grandma would always tell me that, because look, I don't have any shoulders. It's like, I don't have a lot to say about Gary, but I love Gary. It's like, he's just wonderful. He's so pleasant. Like, I'm Gary the Snake. Well, what's your last name? The Snake. And you see on the mailbox, it's like D.E. Snake. Like, I loved that. That was gold. So the scene in the climax when Nick and Judy are having their overshare, as Nibbles calls it. And yeah, by the way, the scene with Nibbles just like makes the kid like, oh, you're wondering how I got here? Like, yeah, like, I made a key, dude. Like, I know I'm a weirdo, but I'm not stupid. I am really helpful. Like, I'm absolute like 10 out of 10 character. But just that moment of the two of them just, so here are my flaws and my problems. Here's my problem. Here's mine. Well, here's mine. And not like I'm going to one-up you. Or like, oh, you think you're a piece of shit? Well, here's my thing. It's just, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, let me be honest with you too. And it's like this Ouroboros of vulnerability. And I almost cried. Like, it was genuinely, I think, a wonderful and beautiful scene, but I'm also like almost laughing. It's like when Judy's like, "You're my Fluffle, it's a group of buddies." I'm like, this is so, like, this is beautiful, and I'm almost crying and I'm laughing at the same time. 10 out of 10, no notes. I want to be someone's Fluffle. Loved it. Let's talk about Pobbert. Ow. By the way, I was sorry. I laughed so hard that hurt my face. Maybe some of this is also because I'm very cold. Also, I take that back. I'm not as cold as I thought I would be. I think this is like way warmer than I give it credit for. If I was just wearing the Hawaiian shirt, I would not have lasted. I would have been like Gary when Bobbert threw him into the snow. Transition. So while we have a straight up villain in Milton Linksley and his other two kids, who I don't know if we ever got their names, if so I don't remember them. You've got Pobbert as our twist villain. For me, there's 3 reasons why I love Pobbert and why I think as a twist villain, he works. But it's a trope I don't care for, but it's I'll actually say 4 reasons. Like, number 1, to that 4th extra reason, it's just like, it's a buddy cop movie. It's a mystery. There should be some misdirection. There should be a bit of a surprise. It's like if I watch a Scream movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm expecting to be some misdirection or surprise that like, oh, I pegged you as a ghost face. I wasn't thinking you were going to be a ghost face. Like, I want to see something like that. So it fits the genre. I will allow it. Number 2, We have a straight up villain throughout the entire film. So I'm not constantly thinking to myself, okay, well, we don't have a bad guy, and I'm running out of people it can be, and we're running out of runtime. Eeny, meeny, miny, it's gotta be you by process of elimination. It's no. Because we have one, it makes a twist villain unnecessary, which means it's like, it makes it feel, how do I want to say it? I'm less looking out for one, I'm less expecting one, which can make the twist more effective. Number 3, his actions feel consistent. Because I will go ahead and say, I knew there was a twist villain going into the film. I didn't know who it was. The first time Pobber appeared on screen, he's like, oh, you're Judy Hopps, like, you're so cool, look at me, I'm so awkward. I'm like, okay, it's you. Like, you're gonna be the twist villain of the film. Thank you. And the more the film went on, the more I thought to myself, it's definitely him, because he is giving me those vibes anyways. And we see that the relationship with his family, the actual villains, is really bad. And I can see motivation in there. Like, maybe he's going to do something to get in their good graces. Maybe he wants to maybe he wants to disgrace the rest of the Linksleys, but make sure he gets out on top in some kind of way or some kind of fashion. There's maybe a way this goes, but I'm not 100 on it yet. And then there's that bit in the lodge where he actively saves Judy from falling. I'm like, okay. This reminds me of Han saving Elsa in Frozen, which is a scene I really don't like because I don't understand it. I'm like, why did you do that? If you are the villain, like, if at this point you already had your plan to, like, supplant Anna and Elsa, why did you save Elsa? You can argue that it's, it's to make himself look better and, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, sure, at this point, he's like, okay, he's already ingratiated himself pretty well with Anna. While Anna's looking for Elsa, he's kind of sort of taken over the kingdom and through, like, acts of kindness and looking out for people. So he's already gotten that goodwill. If he lets Elsa die because an assassin killed her and he was slightly too slow to save her. Oh no, there goes the queen. One less obstacle to him taking the throne. But then he was right there to, catch them and make them look bad and disgrace Weaselton. It's Whistleton. But, like, Weaselton and all of that. Like, him letting Elsa die makes perfect sense with where he's at with his plan. Him saving her, to me, is wildly inconsistent. So when Poppert saves Judy, I'm like, why did you do that? It's not coming together yet, but I think it will. And then we get the journal. And we realize that it's because the journal details that it was a snake. It was Gary, I think it was his grandma or his great-grandma, whatever. But it was his ancestor that actually developed the machine and had the first patent. And the copy of the first patent is in their old house. And Linksley, Linksley murdered, because they throw that word around. I was like, yeah, he murdered his housemaid, framed the snake, got the snakes kicked out for being killers, and then, like, forged his own patent, and then was in charge of all the weather, and then became, like, super rich and all that. And when I heard that explanation, I went, that was the missing piece I needed. Your plan, sir, is you want to go find this extra patent, like the original patent, so that way you can destroy it. And then you can go back to your family and say, I found the one piece of evidence that would topple our family forever, and I got rid of it because I'm a good son. And he saved Judy's life because he needs her to help find this patent and all of that crap. And that is exactly what happened. Like, feels good to be right. But his actions feel consistent. And I think that's very important. Reason 4, which for me is kind of reason 1. It's my favorite of the bunch. Pobbert's character doesn't change. He does not reveal himself and go, oh, you're so stupid. Like, you're such a dumb bunny. This was so easy. I just had to pretend to be weird and awkward. It's like, no, he wasn't acting. He wasn't putting on a character. He even says, like, when he tases her, well, I mean, I guess he, like, injects her with venom. He's like, dude, I can't believe this worked. I 100% thought you figured me out. Like, I totally thought you got me. I thought I was done because, like, you're Judy Hopps. Like, you're such a good cop. Like, you're so smart. I can't believe I got this far. Oh, my goodness. And then, like, when he throws, like, Gary out into the cold, it's not like, I have always hated you. You suck. Like, he sounds like he's genuinely kind of saddened by, like, I'm sorry, partner, but, like, I gotta do it. Him not changing, to me, makes the character feel, again, more consistent. It feels more interesting, and it feels more like a betrayal. They're like, no, we did click. That wasn't a front. We were working together. We were cool. It just didn't matter to you. And what I really love about Pobbert, on top of all of this, is he makes me appreciate Bellwether more. Not to say I think she's a better villain or a better twist villain. I don't. But discussing the movie with Clay, because he was like, there were some bits with Pobbert he didn't care for as much, and it was specifically, he's like, I feel like him sticking with his family, and I'm talking about how lynxes tend to be very territorial and all of that. It kind of feels like we're ignoring the message of the first movie and those nuances when it comes to prejudice and about, people being, like, not black and white, because here it seems like a very clear black and white issue. If you're a lynx, you're a bad person. And I'm like, here's my argument to that. I like Pobbert because he's a foil to Nick. Because Nick is someone who wanted to be, just wanted to be a good person. Like, wanted to be an upstanding member of society. But people only saw him as a sly, clever, deceptive fox. And when he realized, I can't be anything different, then this is what I shall be. And through meeting Judy and working with Judy and developing a friendship, he realized, I can be something different, and I want to be something different. So let me do that. Pobbert is the exact opposite. People see me as the odd one out of my family. They don't see me as a lynx, as a lynxly. But all I want is to fit in with my family. And despite meeting Judy and Gary and, like, having seemingly a genuine friendship and connection and having that opportunity to embrace that change and to be different, he actively says, I don't want to be different. I want to embrace the part of me, like, I want to embrace, what my prejudice, I'm not phrasing it quite right, but I think you get what I mean. And I really love that's like, yeah, he is the anti-Nick, which really made me think back to Bellwether, and I think it was Clay who says, like, she is the anti-Judy, because both of them are mammals, sorry, I just saw some dogs walking, and at first I thought one of the dogs was a giant skunk. Anyways, It's like both of them are mammals. Both of them are in positions that, I guess they're all mammals. It's like both of them are prey. Both of them are in a position that you wouldn't expect from that. And both of them are people who work incredibly hard and have been looked down upon their entire life and their entire career. Bellwether is someone who is so resentful and hates the way that she's looked down on. And she wants to be the person in power so she can look down on others. And Judy is the kind of person who, I wouldn't say she enjoys people looking down on her, but almost kind of embraces it as, I can use this as a chance to prove them wrong. I want to be better, and I want to use my position to help people, while Bellwether wants to use her position to bring people down to her level. And I like that. So, I think that's really all I have to say. I guess I'll say, like, it's not a Christmas movie, but, like, there's a lot of snow imagery, so I guess it does make for, like, a nice winter movie. That's really the only other thing I can think of to add. I really loved Zootopia too. I'm really glad I saw it. See ya.